Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome. It is Saturday, so it's time for me to podcast, and I'm gonna be podcasting for as long as I can. Okay, usually I go for an hour. I may go beyond an hour. No guarantees, but um, just some different things to talk about in this live stream today. Like, well, for me, above it shows, below it shows you what the things I am going to kind of like really talk about, but there's some other things that I'm going to bring into. So it's not all strictly tech. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. It's my favorite holiday. I've made mention to this so many times. I think a lot of you guys pretty much know this already. What's up, Brian? So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about tech, a little bit about social media, a little bit about Halloween movies. And I am going to break down my thoughts of Halloween Ends, a movie that I was very, very disappointed in. But all that's in the live stream. So if you're catching the replay, glad to have you here. If you're here live, glad you stopped by. Yeah, so let's just kind of go into first things first. Pixel Watch. I am seeing a lot of people talk about the Pixel Watch and their experiences, for battery life has not been that great. And I can agree with a lot of people on that. The battery life is not that great if you're expecting days of battery on the Pixel Watch. If you want days, you're not going to get that. But if you're somebody that's like okay with just having a charge every night when you go to bed, you're not really tracking your sleep, it's gonna be just fine. I think it's kind of like having to decipher everything when you see a lot of reviews on YouTube that talk about the Pixel Watch, because it's like people feel like there's like a mixed emotion on it, right? Like you have creators that are taking to YouTube and they're talking about the Pixel Watch and they have all these great things to say about the Pixel Watch, and then like another video later they talk about it and then it's like the battery life isn't all that great, and so they their expression based on it seems a bit dour, and then it's back to being exciting. And really, the only shortcoming to the Pixel Watch, that I'll be honest with everybody, is going to be the battery life. The battery life is the only shortcoming. And so I'm hoping that with the second generation Pixel Watch, the battery life is much better. Hopefully we get days of battery life. But for someone like me, I guess I'm not a very picky person, to be honest with everybody. I don't feel like that I'm a very picky person. If something like, having just like a regular day of battery, actually a day and a half, right? I think the longest I've pushed my Pixel Watch was 35 hours. 35 hours on one charge, and then I had to put it back on the charger, and it charges up pretty quickly. So 35 hours, obviously it's not 48 hours, not 2 days. But you can get about a day and a half. And yes, I don't have always on display on. I don't have my watch face always displayed. And for me, the only setting that I had on that would have drained the battery was the tilt to wake the watch face. I have that turned off now because I'm testing to see how long I can get battery life on my Pixel Watch without the tilt to wake, without always on display. And I know some people will be like, well, why have those features if it's not going to work right? With always on display, you'll probably get like 8 hours of battery life, maybe 9 hours, maybe 6 hours. Who knows? I'm going to try that next after I'm done running the battery test with most of the battery sucking features turned off, to see how long I can get battery life on it, and then try it with always on display on and see how long it's going to last me. But I can tell you guys that my experience with the Pixel Watch has been good. The only problem that I have with it is that it scratches easily. I did gain another scratch, and this time basically I had the watch in my backpack, just because at my job we're not allowed to have smartwatches on our wrist when we're at our station to work. That's just because they have microphones and it's a CPNI issue. So watch has got to go on my bag because I don't want no one going in my desk and seeing that my watch is there. Lately I just haven't been wearing my watch to work, but like for a little bit before that, I would still wear it, just kind of test out some things, and I would just put it in my bag. And I'm gonna say that I think at some point when I took it out, maybe it touched the zipper part. Maybe it touched that metal and it just got a scratch on it. Not very visible, but if you really look for it, like I know where the scratch is. So if I look in that area and I look closely, I can see it. I wish it would charge off the back of the phone, but we need the specific charger. Yeah, that was the only thing that was the thing that kind of amazed me about it, was like you have reverse wireless charging on the Pixel 6, Pixel 5, Pixel 7. Like, why not have this be able to be one of the other Google products that can charge on it, right? Because the Pixel Buds 2 and the Pixel Buds Pro, they can charge on the back of your phone. You have reverse wireless charging turned on, and it's going to charge your Pixel Buds. So that was kind of shocking, because I also have a wireless charge pad at my desk, and it would be awesome that if I was able to do like the wireless charge pad and charge the watch up. But for me, I think one of the features that hey Sneed, what's up, man? I think one of the features that judging by the life expectancy of the watch and how much life it will give on a single battery charge, I think one of the things that I'm glad it's there, so I wouldn't wish it to be away. But the real only thing that you wouldn't be able to take to your advantage is the sleep tracking. Big John, what's up? Welcome in. I'm doing good. The sleep tracking is the one thing that I would say, if you're okay with charging your watch later on in the day, then you would be able to sleep track. Because like I said, I pushed mine for 35 hours. I was able to get 35 hours on a single charge with the Pixel Watch. And that's with having the tilt to wake the watch face, right? I don't have always on display on. Now I have it to where you actually have to touch the display in order to wake it, or push the crown to wake it, which, I don't mind at all whatsoever. Later on today, I am dropping a video to show you guys what I'm using to get watch faces for my Pixel Watch. Right now, I do have the Fiend from WWE. I have the Fiend as my watch face, and I have a couple of other animated watch faces that I can just switch in between every now and then. So, but that video will drop later on tonight, so just be on the lookout for that. But other than that, I mean, the watch itself, it's fine. Basically, I use Google Fit, so I don't really use the Fitbit side of the Pixel Watch. I have Google Fit. I like Google Fit's user interface. So I'm just, I would just rather use Google Fit. So I have Google Fit basically as one of my tiles on my Pixel Watch, and that's just really what I'm watching for when I'm getting my steps in and stuff like that. And it does fine. I noticed that people are getting cases for their Pixel Watch, to protect it, and I really should get one myself soon. I'm probably going to get one, maybe not this week, but next week. I'll probably order one and have it delivered to me so I can put the watch in it just to keep it protected. But the idea that it's this super terrible experience, I mean, first of all, experiences are in the eye of the beholder, right? So even if my experience is to me is amazing, maybe for you it's not going to be amazing. So you really look at what you're about to buy before you buy it, right? If the battery life doesn't seem like it's going to fit your everyday needs, then if it strikes it out, right? You got to be honest about it. If it's causing physical damage, right? RJ posted a video talking about how the watch damaged, did damage to his skin, and I mean, it sucks for him because he's got the Pixel Watch, the LTE model. It's got to sit on his desk, unless he wants to give it a shot again and try wearing it and see if it replicates the same issue. If it doesn't, then it's got to be something else that caused it. Hey, appreciate that. Big shout out to Big John Tech Reviews for that $5 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. This is so good. This is a guava lemonade. It's so damn good. Anyways, so that is a Pixel Watch. Yesterday, I uploaded a video, and the title of the video was Blind Video Test and Photo Test. And I really thought, after I posted that video up, I was like, holy crap, you know what? I felt stupid. I felt stupid because I thought a lot of people were going to catch on and know what it was, what I used to vlog the video and what I used to take the photos, because I had tweeted earlier that day that I had paired my Pixel Watch with my Pixel 6, and that was my combination for use that day. So I made it clear I only took one phone with me to work, and I took my Pixel Watch. And I wanted to see if there was going to be a different experience with the watch paired to the Pixel 6 versus the Pixel 7. And there wasn't an issue at all. But I was like, I just uploaded this video and called it Blind Video Test to see if people can figure out which phone took the video and photos, and I was like, damn, people are gonna know already because I tweeted it. To my surprise, no. Some people got it right. Some people got mixed. Some people thought the video side of it was shot on the Pixel 7 and that the photos were shot from the Pixel 6 because some of the photos came out a bit grainy. I was kind of surprised at that too, on just how inconsistent the photos was, but it wasn't. I wouldn't really say it was the Pixel 6 entirely because it also could have been the way that I was holding my phone and snapping those photos, and how much time I was taking to line the photos up. Right, significant difference you'll get in a photo if you take your time to line your shots, and if you're using the rule of threes, and you're using those square the grid boxes you see, you can turn that on. If you use the rule of threes and everything, you can get a really good photo using the rule of threes. And with that day, I was just point and shooting. So some of those photos were just point and shoot and boom, and some of those were were I felt they were decent. But yeah, it was a Pixel 6 to answer that question for yesterday's video on the blind video test, where I went to my kids' school for their trunk or treat. It was so hard because like my job had an event going on and they were doing trunk or treating until I want to say 8:30. And I thought my kids' school was also at the same time from 5:30 to 8:30, but theirs was from 5:30 to 6:30. And we had already traveled close back to home. There was no way I was going to turn around and go all the way back to where my job is at, and take my kids over there to do it. It was too much of a distance to travel out that way. Plus, they were hungry; they wanted to go eat. So there was like a lot of factors in. So I didn't really get to do a lot of video recording and stuff to create that vlog like I wanted to. However, Halloween is going to be the night where like the Pixel 7 is going to be put to the test for nighttime vlogging and such, because definitely going to be taking a lot of pictures and photos and stuff like that to share with all of you. And yeah, it's just gonna be pretty cool. But the Pixel 7 and how it's holding up right now, and I can just tell anybody it's holding up great. It is holding up fantastic. It's fucking amazing. At the end of the day, it's doing great. And the crazy thing about it is that with the software updates that the Pixel 6 has gotten recently, made the Pixel 6 seem way much better, which was absolutely crazy that it was doing so much better. I was like, whoa. So even the Pixel 6 has really kind of smoothed out. But the Pixel 7 still is a bit more smoother. And yo, thank you so much, Blaze, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. We got a super sticker. It's the Shiba dog clapping his hands. Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. The Pixel 7 is by far really good. With its connectivity, being on the Visible Plus plan, it's just wow. It's amazing. In my opinion, it's amazing. The 7 Pro has been a very enjoyable experience so far. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I feel like that with the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, all the expectations that we had, even those who were a bit critical of the Google Pixels, have to admit this, right? Like Google finally hit the target. And I think they're doing great. I mean, we can nitpick on the Tensor G2 and try to find something wrong with it. And like, but at the end of the day, picking up the phone, turning it on, using it, getting on social media, recording video, playing a video game, watching YouTube, listening to music, all that stuff is just flawlessly working. There are some people who have reported that their Pixel 7 Pros have overheated. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. It is reported. There are people that's reporting it, that theirs has overheated. For me, I can say I've been live streaming from it on various different platforms. I've recorded video. I make vlogs from the Pixel 7. Yeah, everything is great. Everything is fantastic about it. If I had to tell you guys, to be fair, if I had to tell you guys one disappointment of the Pixel 7 or 7 Pro, because this is going to apply to both of them. One thing that I'm just kind of like disappointed in, and it's not even really like a disappointment that would be everybody's disappointment, if that makes sense. It just depends on how you feel about things. The only disappointment that I have about the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro is that they're very slippery. The other day, I must have been slightly dehydrated because my hands were very dry. And, I wanted to hold the phone without a case. So I was like, I was chilling here in the rooms, laying in the bed, and I popped the phone out the case and I was holding it. And I was like, golly, this thing is slippery. Like, good thing I'm on my bed. If it slips out of my hand, it's going to fall on the mattress. I was nowhere near the edges of my bed. I was like, center bed, we're good. Um, but I was still trying to play around with it, and then all of a sudden, like, texting was so hard with it being slippery, so I would start texting, and the phone would start sliding down between my hands, and so like I'm like struggling my thumbs to continue typing characters. That is the only thing I don't like about the Pixel, and that's even the Pixel 6 too as well. Gene, thank you so much for the $5 super chat or super sticker, and this one is the pair character lying on the side, raising his arms. So workout pair. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That would be my only gripe. So, like, if I ever wanted to use the Pixel 7 without a phone case on it, because let's get realistic. Yes, you should put a case on your phone to protect it, right? Life never deals you perfect cards. You could absolutely drop your Pixel 7 if you don't have it cased up. If you don't have, so I know that. It's just like my Pixel Watch. I know that if eventually I don't put some sort of like bumper protection around it, and I absolutely am walking and I just bang into a wall, I could crack the display and totally screw the watch up. Like, I know that. But there are times where I just want to hold the phone. Like, I don't want a case to hold on it. And so I'd rather would rock it naked. That is me. You can call me stupid. You can say I'm idiotic. I really don't care. But that is me. Sometimes I just want to just hold the phone. And so I am going to look into some really cool skins for my Pixel 7 and my Pixel 6. I loved the way that my Pixel 6 looked when I had that smoky, like very whitish light gray skin on it that got damaged. But I thought the Pixel 6 looked great with that. I like the kind of coral color. I like, the way it looked. But sometimes I get bored of it. And, so I would rather skin it and just make it look different. I think I'm going to do that to the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 6 again, because that is one thing. I would like to use them without a case. And if they weren't so slippery, I would have a better handle on them, and I wouldn't have to worry about it like breaking. So Android 13 on the Pixel 7 is like flawlessly working well. So I'm not experiencing any bug issues or anything like that. I don't know if anyone else is, but if you are and you are the replay crew, then leave a comment on what bugs you're experiencing. But the Pixel 7 and the Pixel Watch, Google did it. Like Google just did it, hands down. Google did it. There's not one phone out there that's going to be like perfect. There's not one phone that someone could name to me, even if in their heart of hearts they felt it was the most perfect phone in the world. I can tell you reasons why it's not perfect. There's nothing out there that's perfect. There's always something that's going to fit for your everyday needs, for your needs. And that's strictly how it is. And so for me, Google Pixels. At the end of the day, I don't care what reasoning behind stuff. The pricing I felt was great. The what you get with each of the phones, the 7 and the 7 Pro, I thought was really awesome on that. The design language I think is great. Everything about the phone is great. I'm a Pixel fan. True and true. I'm gonna switch it off a little bit and let's head into social media. Lots to talk about with social media, and normally I really don't talk about social media, but this, I'm kind of excited for it because Twitter is freed, sort of. I mean, they can say it on the news, and see, this is going to be my thought process, so you understand the reason why I really don't care who owns Twitter. It's so good. Woo! I'm the type of person that likes lemonade that's like that has like a tinge of sweetness, but mostly sour. I like lemonade that's sour for some reason. I'm just weird. Oh yeah. There are things about the Pixel 3 that I absolutely love that I wish would come to like future Pixels. Like, we're having multiple camera sensors on the back of a phone, but how about putting multiple camera sensors on the front of the phone, right? You gotta admit, that ultra-wide selfie camera on the Pixel 3 was pretty badass. And it gave a reason to use the hashtag groupies and for it to not be offensive. So there are things about the Pixel 3 that I like, but I wish it would be implemented in future devices. The face unlock is before I move on to Twitter though. Backtrack to Pixel 7 real quick. I will confirm to everybody that the face unlock is not the same as the Pixel 4. So, like, let's see. I think I'll probably release the video on next week, Wednesday. There was a point that I was able to actually trick the Pixel 7 into opening, and I used my Pixel 6. I used a screen of my Pixel 6 to post, like, to have a photo of me on it, and it's at a certain distance, it will unlock. It's crazy. Now, I don't know if it was like a one-time thing, because I was never able to replicate it after that point. After the point of doing it once, tricking it once, I've tried so many times after, and it doesn't fall for it. So I don't know if that was like the one in the millionth time that it would glitch and actually unlock for a photograph instead of me, but I was able to do it. So yeah, I'll drop that video next week, Wednesday. I got like a ton of videos that I got to edit. I've been recording a lot of videos lately. I just haven't had the time to edit and upload them. And so, yeah, videos are going to start dropping next week as, you know, stuff with my personal life kind of dies down a little bit. And then I'll be able to get some more content out for everybody. All right, so kind of fast forward to Twitter. Let's talk about Twitter and Twitter ownership and all this other stuff, right? Because a lot of you guys on here that I see use Twitter. I see you guys on Twitter. I read your tweets that you guys post. I may not always comment on them, but I am reading them in my time thread, because Twitter is one of my favorite social platforms to just kind of like get away from the day-to-day monotony of everything, right? And of course, I got a community on there that I'm pushing for mobile photography, and shout out to those that have followed it. Appreciate you guys. If you want to follow it, the link is in the description. You guys can join the community on Twitter. It's just basically sharing mobile phone photography, mostly about pixels. But if you don't have a pixel, don't worry. You don't have to have a pixel to join. You can join in. You can post photos from your iPhone. You can post photos from Samsung or your Motorola or Xiaomi, Huawei, any of those phones. It's totally fine. You don't need to just specifically have a pixel to be a part of the group. It is centered around what Google Pixel phones can do with photography, and that's why, like, I tell people, it's open to anybody with a different phone to post, because one of the cool things about it is without it being intentional, we can compare cameras and how to take photos when you got people uploading different photos from other mobile devices that are non-pixels, can compare to pixels. I mean, they're not going to be in the same area, and that's also good too, because that allows people to just kind of like see like what the camera can shoot, like how can it shoot things, you know? So yeah, Twitter community in the link in the description. Give it a follow. Absolutely no arguing allowed in those places. So but yeah, there are people who are upset that Elon owns Twitter. There are people who feel like that all these things are going to start happening. Tito basically saying the same message. Yeah. I like that. And I say to anybody out there, like, I don't put faith in public figures. I guess that's the reason why that it seems like I'm so nonchalant about these things. I don't put faith in public figures. I don't care if they say publicly that their views are a disagreement to my views, or if their views are in alignment with my views. I don't trust public figures. I trust people. I trust people that I see down the street, that I walk past every day, whether I smell the smell of cigarettes on them or the smell of alcohol on them. I don't care. I trust people. I don't trust public figures. I don't trust politicians. I never will. Never will hang on the word of any politician, really. And I don't know why a lot of people do. Like, let's get away from that stuff, because that stuff is really, really, really toxic. I see how it affects so many people, right? You know, Elon tweets that he's opening the platform to free speech again, and that anyone from any side view would have a right to say something, as long as they're not breaking criminal law. You know, it'll be fine. And then there's people who are worried, like, well, you know, am I going to be accepted anymore on Twitter? Can someone just come on and publicly harass me and make fun of me because of my, you know, whatever it may be? Hang on, I'm trying to get comfortable real quick, so I'm going to sit Indian style on my comfy ass bed and then just move the microphone and move everything closer. Get close a little longer with Big Red. That Big Red freshness. Yeah, Big Red commercials. Remember those? So Get Closer with Big Red. And then you have the Double Mint twins, Wrigley's Gums. Look, and like, you know, first of all, I'll say this about Twitter and social media and just in general. I don't go on to social media to hurt people's feelings. I don't go on to social media to start trolling people. That is furthest of what I am going to even try and do on social media. My thing is just to interact with people, just to share what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and read everyone's feedback towards it, and, you know, see what they're posting, and whatever they're posting. If they're posting like a favorite moment or whatever like that, I feel honored to be able to share in that moment of celebration just by, you know, replying with a simple congratulations and retweeting their tweet for other people to find it so they can be congratulated by other people. Like, that is purpose on social media. And I can't fathom how someone could just want to spend their day to say, I'm gonna get on social media because I want to make fun of this person because of, you know, their whatever about them, right? I'm not gonna get into like so many different topics of that because that can just open up Pandora's box. You know, and I get that. Like, nobody wants to be attacked on social media. Nobody wants to be made fun of. So it sucks, right? Because you would feel like that having some sort of moderation on there would be nice, right? And it feels nice when it protects you. And I think that's what the big problem is when it comes to social media in general. It comes to that. People will support certain moderations, and they will support getting rid of free speech because of when it's spun in a way that it makes you feel like it's protecting you. It's protecting things about you. But what happens when that moderation is turned against you? What if you are no longer the favorite? What if now you are on the opposition? Well, then you wouldn't be able to get a word out about anything because now you would be the target of what they call moderation. Do you see where that's going? Cyberbullying should be banned from all platforms. Cyberbullying, yeah. And, you know, people are like, how do you define cyberbullying? Here's my take on cyberbullying. If someone went on Twitter and said that, and replied to one of my tweets and said, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about Pixel 7s." Okay. And they said it once, maybe twice. Okay. They're being a dick. What I consider to be cyberbullying is when you are consistently stalked on all your social platforms and you're just constantly berated by all the bullshit, right? I consider that to be cyberbullying. So cyberbullying has no place. Right, I agree. But I feel like someone can actually call me a fucking idiot if they wanted to. That's their right to do it. You know? I always say this, right? When people are like wanting to control some form of speech. You can call me a fucking idiot. Yeah, I agree that you should be able to call me an idiot, a dumbass, whatever the fuck you want to call me. You can call me it. Have at it, right? I'm not going to stop you and say you're not allowed to say those words and silence you. But it doesn't mean that it goes unpunished. The punishment comes for when you see me knock the living shit out of you. You know? So that is the punishment in itself. There's a saying that says, don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash, right? That's the check right there. If you open your mouth and talk shit, don't expect that you can't be touched. Everybody can be touched. So that is my reasoning of, like, you know, with Twitter and the state that it's in right now, even though the new owner says the bird's been free speech and all this other stuff, I'll believe it when I see it. It cannot be one-sided. It cannot be one-sided on political spectrums. Can't be one-sided on tech spectrums. It can't be one-sided on movie spectrums and life decisions. Like, no, I think everyone should have their voices on there. Fine. Totally fine. I also think that those that are absolutely like too fucking sensitive should just get off the platform if you can't handle it. I mean, you're not forced to be on Twitter. You're not forced to be on YouTube or on Facebook or any of these things. So if you don't like what someone says, you don't always have to like go pick a fight with them. You don't always have to go and try to censor them, but you can just get the hell off the platform. Don't go on it, right? And it's not the craziest thing. You have Elon Musk that has Twitter now. You have Kanye West who has Parler, which fucking surprised the hell out of me that he even bought Parler. Like, why? Why did he buy Parler? It's just crazy. It's crazy how that is. So a lot of people are taking to social media and saying things is going to get bad. Things are going to get bad. Well, I mean, to be honest with everybody, like things were already bad on Twitter. It already had a political agenda. It already had a side that it was siding with. It was already banning people just because they had a belief, a freaking belief. That's crazy. So yeah, with me, I don't worry about what's going on in that Twitter stuff. The Twitter stuff, Kanye is a jerk and he needs to be banned. But why ban him? See, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Gene. Like everyone's like, so-and-so is mean, ban them. So-and-so is mean, ban them. You keep doing all the stuff of banning people, and then one day you become the villain. You become the villain. Someone is going to look at you as the villain and then ban you, and then you have no ground to stand on to say, hey, why are you guys going to ban me for? I should have a right to say what I'm going to say. You won't have ground to say that anymore because you joined in on the trigger happy, ban him, ban her, ban him, ban her. Like, so what? You don't like Kanye. Don't read his stuff. Don't follow him. Why is it ever hard for anyone to just like not follow somebody? There are tons of people who fucking annoy me with the shit that they say and how they present themselves. I don't give them a second thought because I'm not following them anymore. I don't read their shit. They don't ever affect my life. That's my mentality on things is just stop reading their stuff. Stop looking. If you don't like the person, don't bother them. Don't bother them and they won't bother you. Block them. From your, like, everyone's quick, like, ban this person, ban that person. Why ban them? You have the ability to block people. Block them. You block them. Doesn't kick them off the platform. The people that actually like them can continue to engage with them. And you can go on with your life because you won't ever see anything from them. Block them. I just hear about him online, the news, and everywhere else. And see, that's also the problem today. You can't judge somebody based on social media and news and all that stuff. You can't. I'm sorry, Gene. You just can't. I will literally put my foot down on that. You can't judge somebody from what you read or hear from other people. Like, answer this question. Would you say it's okay if other people spoke about you to somebody else? And would it be fair for those people to believe that person because they spoke about you without actually talking to you and getting to know you as a person? Do you think that a judgment should be passed on third hand? Because if you don't, that's exactly what you're doing. Now, Kanye could be a jerk in real life. You follow him, you see the stuff that he says, and you're like, this guy sounds like a dumbass. He's a clown. Well, then, yeah. But you're personally engaging with Kanye, right? Yeah, it's a difficult subject. It is a difficult subject, but the underlining factor is that if you don't like somebody, you don't have to follow them. If you don't like a certain group, you don't have to follow anything about them. Like, people forget the power of social media is in your own hands. You don't need other people absolutely regulating it, right? We need it regulated for the mass crime stuff, right? Like the sick shit that creepy people be posting online. That definitely have that moderated. But for like point of view, whether it's political, religious, sexual preference, all these things, for those things, we don't need a moderation in there to just start kicking people out of things. It's a slippery slope is what I'm trying to say. Well, you can leave your comment, Coffee. I would love to read it. And I know it's to certain things, it's not that easy, but actually to not seeing somebody's stuff, that it really is that easy. It really is that easy. You block the person that you don't want to ever see their tweets or ever see their Facebook posts or their Instagram accounts. You block them. You don't see them. If you don't see them, how do you know it's even there? It goes back to that one of those questions about life. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does it make a sound? Right? It only makes a sound if you're there. You have to be there in order to see what goes on. You have to be there in order to listen to the stupidity of someone that you don't like. I'm not saying that everybody has to like each other. Hell no. You can damn well dislike somebody. You can dislike them for the way that they think, the way that they act, the things that they do. That's your right to do it. You're right. Not for whatever country you live in. For you as a human being, it's your right. It is your right to dislike somebody regardless. You don't have to like everybody. They don't have to like you. But you don't have to follow them. You don't have to seek them out to see what they're saying every day so you have a reason to hate them more. Just get rid of them out of your sight and keep it moving. For example, I don't follow someone, but I saw their comment on a political subject. So, for example, from Serbia, you know the history if you heard about, yeah. So bots make profile and bash. Yeah, that's a very different story. You're talking about bots. You're talking about bots there. And that, so I guess I'm following along with what you're saying on, like, you know, it's not always that easy. The bots, that's something that's a totally different thing. I am only strictly like zoned in on human to human interactions, not bots or anything like that. That's a totally different thing. But human to human interactions, okay? You don't have to follow the person that you don't like. If anyone hasn't really noticed, you know, I'll point it out. But the one coolest things I see, like on Instagram right now, if you block an account, you can either just block that one account, or you can block that account and any future accounts that they make. They can come back in with a totally different username, totally different brand new account, and their new account will automatically be blocked from your account because you chose to ban them and any future account that they make. So there is things that you can do. You don't have to always put the power in someone to regulate shit for you. You can do it yourself. Okay? Social media is a toxic dump. It is, because these days people really don't use social media to engage in friendships. Like, you know, like for me, a lot of you guys are in different states. You guys don't live in my state. So it's hard. I can't say, hey, you know, Gene, Sneed, Carlos, you know, everybody in the community, I'm going to be at this place, at this coffee house, you know, to just chill while we all meet up and kick it at the coffee house and have a good time and conversate and whatever. I can't do that because you guys won't be able to make it there. I wouldn't be able to make it to your guys' place unless I flew there to go visit you guys. So my only way of actually having, you know, like interactions with my friends is on social media. And a lot of you guys use Twitter. And so that's my only way to be able to interact with friends that are cool with me that live in other states. My other friends here, of course, I can interact with them. Hey, dude, meet me at Chili's. I'm going to have dinner. You want to eat something? Meet me over there. Let's have a few drinks, talk, kick it, laugh, whatever. Like that. That's totally a different thing. A lot of the stuff on media, you know, can be, a lot of things on social media can be painted in a fake vibe. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow the government could deem me a threat and then start like publicating all these real fucked up things about me just to get the whole country to turn on me. It's something that can happen, right? And the longer we keep giving them control to be able to do these things, the more they're gonna do it. Yeah. You know, so you've always had the power to control your own social media experiences. You always have the power. Don't seek out the people that you don't like. Don't make it your mission to view them on everything to aggravate you. Live your life. Connect with the people that make you feel good about yourself. Connect with the people that bring you good vibes. Connect with the things that make you happy. And focus on those things. Stop focusing on the negativity of things. It's what I would say to somebody. So Elon owning Twitter, not detrimental. It was always detrimental in the hands before. It was detrimental in the hands of Jack Dorsey And I said it too. And I am live streaming this on Twitter too as well. But yeah, it's detrimental to Andrew Jack Dorsey. So the same as with Facebook, the same as with Instagram. But you got to understand that you're on a social platform that you really can't control everybody in there. And it becomes a slippery slope if you start kicking people out of it. Because today, you'll be a part of the group that is accepted. Tomorrow, you may not be. And then you're going to be kicked out. And it always happens. When you become part of the group that is no longer accepted and you also are forced out of social media, the one thing I heard everybody say that has gone through it is it wasn't fair. That's fucked up. It's not fair that they kicked me out of that Facebook group. It's not fair that they got my account banned on Facebook. But you were okay with it when they did that to somebody else. See what I mean? It's a slippery slope, the double-edged sword. If you don't want to be banned out of something because of the way that you're saying things, then don't push it upon other people, even if you disagree with what they say, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. That's why that is a saying. That's why, my father always told me that. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. Doesn't mean kiss people's asses. What it meant was you may not agree with that person, but if you don't want to get punched in the face, then don't punch them in the face for saying something. If you don't want to get kicked out of an establishment, then don't option for them to get kicked out of the establishment. Whether you agree or not, there's another saying. You always can agree to disagree. Drop it. Move the fuck on with your life. That is how it goes. Excuse the colorful language. Yeah, so is Twitter going to go die, bye-bye and all? No, it's not. It's not going anywhere. And as long as you continue to use Twitter the way you've always been using it, if you've been using it to connect with your favorite content creators, if you've been using it to talk tech, if you've been using it to post photography, continue to do that. All that other stuff you're hearing about in the news, Twitter's new owner, Elon did this, Elon did that, and that's like white noise, background stuff. Wash away. Just focus on your life and keep doing the things that you're doing. You'll be fine. Be absolutely fine. All right, let's kind of switch tracks here. How many of you have seen Halloween Ends? I just want to make sure that I'm not going to do spoilers to somebody. I want to talk about this because I was like, yeah. I watched it again and again to see if I got something different from it, and I didn't get anything different from it. So, yeah. And I did see that there's a petition for it. There's an actual petition for Halloween. You have not seen it yet? Comment a thumbs up if you've seen it. You're watching it tomorrow? Oh my God, I'm going to talk about it. Oh no, Blade has... Okay, you know what? I'll save it for another day. I'll save it for next weekend. All right? I'll save it for next weekend. I won't say nothing about that. What about Jeepers Creepers? What do you mean repeat what I said? Oh, about Halloween Ends? I was asking everybody, how many of you have seen Halloween Ends? No, I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody. If most of you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm not gonna talk about it. Yeah, it's called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Judging by you asking me if there is one, Coffee, now I know you didn't see it, so now I can't talk about that one. Because if you go and see it, if you plan to see it now that you know that there is one, I don't want to ruin it for you. You know what? We can still talk about scary movies. All right, so I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna lay it out for you guys. Let's see. For what, Jeepers Creepers? There's actually 4. So there's Jeepers Creepers 1, Part 2, which was the high school bus incident, which those two are in the same. Actually, all 3 of the first ones are in the same timeline. If you're gonna watch them, then you have to watch it in the order of 1, 3, 2, because part 3 takes place in between part 1 and 2, which is weird. And then there's Jeepers Creepers 4. Well, Jeepers Creepers Reborn. It's a reboot. And that one was sad. So we actually could talk about Jeepers Creepers Reborn, because we can talk about the original script that they wanted to go with, that they ended up scrapping that, and the version that we got in theaters and stuff, that's what they came up with. But originally there was, and shout out to Technoid, because Technoid covered this too. I don't know if you guys know that, but Technoid covered Jeepers Creepers Reborn on his YouTube channel. He's got his stuff up, so you can check out his video about it. But I'll tell you guys about the script of Jeepers Creepers 4 that got canned and scrapped. I don't know if you guys ever YouTubed like Jeepers Creepers and found a video that showed like kind of like a post movie credit where it had, what the hell was her character's name in part 1? But basically the sister, Derry's sister, is like an action sequence that pans to like hearing her speak. It's like she's calling over CB radio, and she's calling the people out there to get ready to start hunting the creeper. So apparently what part 4 was going to be about, it would have had the sister, Derry's sister from the first movie, and it would have had Jack Jr. So I believe the plans were that Jack Sr. would have been alive when the creeper awoke in his barn, because he had it nailed up on the barn, over the barn door. But the dad would have been killed by the creeper. In fact, I think the idea was that the creeper would have harvested the body parts it needed to regenerate from the dad. Like, so it would have came back to, life, fully strengthened, fully revitalized. And it would have been up to Jack Jr. having to meet with Derry's sister, along with another task force that was hunting the creeper, to actually go after it. And in that script, we would have gotten what the creeper is, like its true form, without eating human body parts to add on to itself, to disguise itself as a human being, right? Because if anyone hasn't figured it out by now, the creeper is not a humanoid. Okay, the arms, legs, head, all that is body parts that it eats. It eats, and it sets in place to make itself mirror what a human would look like. That way it can get close to you. It can stand in a crowd with you, and you really wouldn't know until you focused on him, right? Only a few people would pick up on a very ominous looking person in a crowd of people. And those people who would pick up on it, 9 times out of 10, are the people that have fear in their lives, which is what the creeper can smell, that tells it what it wants to eat from you. So that's how it works, hand in hand on it. But yeah, we would have gotten the backstory to the creeper. We'd have finally known what it was. Okay, what it looks like is some sort of alien being. The little spine thingies. I don't know if you guys remember the second one, after it took that dude's head and it pulled off the current head that it had, that they stabbed with the javelin pole. It tore that head off, and you just saw this thing that looked like a kind of like how a hand shape is, with those spines going like that. And it pulled the head up, and then it latched to the back of the head, covering the top part of the head up to the forehead. Whatever that thing is, because we would have to well, no, we've seen the back of its body, but we haven't really seen if they had like those similar spines over the head, around the rib cage, torso area either. Because in the first movie, when he was in the prison, at the police station, in the jail cells, and he was eating that one person to replace his leg that got crushed when he got ran over, we saw his wings. We saw his wings tucked in, but the skin looked very scaly, like a crocodile or alligator, actually. Anyways, yeah, part 4 we would have figured out. Well, we would have gotten told what the creeper is. There's so many YouTube videos that have like fan theories of what they think, what the creeper is. Some say it's a demon, some say it's an ancient creature, some say it's an alien. But we would have finally had the answers. And Jeepers Creepers 3, 2 people got the answers. It was just never shared to the audience. So that sucks. Anyways. Yeah, it was supposed to be that where they actually now hunt the creeper. But I guess there was creative differences and conflict and everything. So all that just got pretty much like scrapped. Just got scrapped. And they came out with what's in theaters now. And I'm not going to tell you what's in theaters. If you want to go see it yourself, you can go check it out. So my question to all of you is, name me your favorite slasher film. What slasher, like horror movie is your favorite and the character in it? I don't know why I'm tired today. Must have had a long week. Like for me, my favorite slasher film is going to be the Halloween movies. Michael Myers. Just something about that. And of course, like the mask is William Shatner. So that's even more funnier. The Shape. The Shape is, as a matter of fact, it's one that I had unlocked by on Dead by Daylight, and I like to use The Shape. As I always like when Dead by Daylight, I always play the killer. So I'm always using this. I'm always using the Shape or Pyramid Head. You can't pick. I like Freddy, Jason, and Michael. What about Chucky? Does anyone like Chucky? Does anyone even put him in the same weight class with Freddy, Jason, and Michael? Not. It is just creepy. I wouldn't put it in the slasher category. That's a whole nother level of just nuts. It's totally nuts. I couldn't take Chucky seriously either. I just never really could see how such a small children's toy doll could take down, people, even big people, right? Like Chucky was able to kill people that could just easily rip him in half. So it was Halloween to Halloween 6. Then I think after Halloween 6, it was H2O and then Halloween Resurrection. That was the original timeline story. Then the new timeline story is Halloween, the original movie, jumped straight into Halloween, I think it was 2017. Then Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. That's the new one. And then you have Rob Zombie's take on it. Which I thought Rob Zombie's take on Halloween was pretty good too. I would fight it if given the chance. You'd fight Chucky? I don't think Chucky would stand a chance, dude. Seriously. I mean, you're willing to take on coyotes and bears. On children's toys, like... And, with, your greatest attributes, your intelligence, right? And then also you're very methodical. So it wouldn't be Chucky. Oh, you would fight it. Oh, I thought you were going to fight Chucky. I was like, Chucky wouldn't be able to take you because you would already have a plan to take him out. Oh my God, man. It is so weird. Yeah. Yeah. The Chucky movies were just like, they were kind of creepy in the beginning. I guess it's because when I first watched them, I was a kid. But then, like over the years, it's got too much comedy, and it was just stupid towards like the last ones. Even the reboot, I thought was dumb as hell. Your favorite movie, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers? That one had an alternate ending. I don't know if you knew that. It had two different endings. And it's funny because the only thing that really creeps me out about Halloween 6, not so much about like Michael Myers and like, you know, the meaning of the tattoo on his wrist and the constellation that only appears on Halloween night and all this other stuff. But the thing that like, you know, really creeps me out about Halloween 6 is that Paul Rudd is in that movie. So it's like Ant-Man came face to face with Michael Myers. Because Paul Rudd was the original Tommy Doyle. That's who played Tommy Doyle in the Halloween series before the reboot. Except for when Tommy Doyle was a kid. They had a kid act as him in the first Halloween movie, but then the Curse of Michael Myers, Paul Rudd played Tommy Doyle. So I always make fun of it because I'm like, Ant-Man takes on Michael Myers. Halloween 3, isn't that Season of the Witch? That didn't have Michael Myers in it. I think Halloween 3 was trying to go away from Michael Myers, and you know, fans didn't like that Halloween 3 didn't have Michael Myers in it, and so they brought him back in part 4. Fun fact, the sheriff that played in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies is the voice Chucky. Yeah, I know. Michael Myers are returned. That's what confused me in Halloween 6. I thought in 6 they found it. No, in 6 they didn't kill him at all. So there's two alternate endings in Halloween 6. Is everyone okay with me talking about that? Because I don't want to spoil it for people. And I never knew this. I never knew that they had two different movie endings, because I recently found out about this because I watched Halloween 6. I think it was 3 weeks ago. And the ending that it showed them running down a hallway. The lady with the kid. They're running down the hallway. They're trapped by a gate. The elevator opens. Dr. Loomis comes out. He opens the gate, lets the girl and the kid in the elevator, and says he's going to take care of Michael. Paul Rudd, who played Tommy Doyle came face to face with Michael Myers, and Michael didn't kill him. I forgot what he did, but Michael ended up... Oh, he did a ritual right in front of where Michael was walking towards him. He did a ritual, and it stopped Michael dead in his tracks. And Michael didn't proceed forward after them. And so that, but like Tommy Doyle, Paul Rudd, Tommy Doyle basically, he was still mentally impacted by Michael Myers. At any time he sees him, he just starts to kind of like just wig out. So he had that little jitter to him, but he slowly stepped away and left. And when he left to catch up with the lady and the young, I think it was a young girl, he saw Dr. Loomis, and he told Dr. Loomis to go with them. And Dr. Loomis is like, no, there's something I have to do. So Tommy Doyle and them, they close the elevator door, they leave. While that is happening, the one doctor who had the cult druid that worships Michael Myers, he shows up and he just utters, Michael, what happened to you? And then basically from that point, it cuts back to Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis is walking down the hallway slowly, approaching to the corridor where Michael was standing. And when he gets there, the doctor who uttered the words, Michael, what happened to you, is laying on the floor dying. And then it cuts to a scene where it shows a hallway getting darker towards the end with the light at the end of the hallway. And you see Michael wearing, the doctor who approached him, you see him wearing his coat and his hat, and he's walking away. So that's one of the alternate endings. The other alternate ending in Halloween 6 is the ending where they're in a boiler room of that same building that they were in. They were in the boiler room and Michael's in there. Michael has them trapped. Tommy Doyle configures a bunch of syringes with poison. And when Michael falls for the trap, he stabs it into Michael and injects all that fluid into him. And so then Michael gets incapacitated. So then after that happens, Tommy, the girl, and the young girl, they're leaving. Dr. Loomis walks them out. And as they get outside the building, Tommy does the same line. He tells Dr. Loomis, like, come with us. And Dr. Loomis says, no, there's something that I have to take care of. And in that part, what he's referencing is Dr. Loomis had discovered that the tattoo on Michael's wrist, which is like a weird looking thorn symbol, is from I guess the constellation of Thorn that only appears on Halloween night. So when Dr. Loomis goes back in, because he has this idea that if he cuts the tattoo off of Michael's wrist, Michael cannot reanimate and come back. Like, he would be dead for good. However, at the very, very end of the movie, you hear Dr. Loomis screaming. And there's a slight shadow that shows Michael's like head, like the shadow of his head with the mask on. So I guess what it means is that when Dr. Loomis went to cut the tattoo off, Michael had awoken and finally had killed Dr. Loomis. Because 6, there's hold on. Let me know if I'm having issues right now, because I just got notified that my stream is getting weak. I don't know if it crashed out. But anyways, yeah, so because after Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, there's Halloween H2O, where Michael confronts his sister Laurie Strode at the school that she's teaching, right? So she changed her identity. She got a job at a private boarding school, and Laurie Strode's son goes to that school. And Michael finds out. He gets there. He starts stalking her. Laurie finds out that Michael is found her. She sets a trap in the school to try to kill her brother. And then at the end of Halloween H2O, Michael comes through one of the corridor doors, and Laurie Strode is like hidden. I guess she's hidden on top. She comes down with an axe and cuts Michael's head off. So it looked like that Michael was killed in H2O. However, we get Halloween Resurrection, where Michael finds out that Laurie is in a mental hospital, because at the end of H2O, when they took the mask off of Michael's severed head, they found out that it wasn't Michael Myers, that Michael had tricked Laurie, knowing that she set a trap to cut his head off with that axe. He put his jumpsuit and his mask on a security guard who couldn't speak, because I think Michael punctured his throat, so he couldn't vocally speak, and he pushed the guy through the door, and Laurie ended up cutting that security guard's head off, and Michael just disappeared. Of course, before disappearing, he stalked the medical van that, you know, was taking the body back to the morgue, and was able to retrieve his mask and his jumpsuit, or his coverall suit, whatever you want to call it. So that is Halloween 1 all the way to Halloween Resurrection. Resurrection, after Michael killed his sister, he has nothing to do, so he goes back. He goes back to the Myers home, and he finds out that some, reality TV host who has a TV show where they go exploring like haunted places and places of mass murder. This guy, he picks people. They got to wear a camera, on their headbands, and they have to explore this creepy area. And so the Myers house was chosen to have this episode aired on. And the guy who plays the show host is played by Busta Rhymes, the rapper. And so Michael comes back to the Myers house and finds out that a production crew had altered the inside of his house a little bit, creating stuff to create this dynamic show, because we know that reality TV shows are slightly fake. So Michael's like, hey, free people to kill. So they're in his house. They're supposed to discover why Michael's crazy and also see if Michael still lives there. And Busta Rhymes dresses up as Michael Myers. And it's like the funniest part of the whole movie. He walks into the hallway. He sees Michael Myers. And then he goes up to him and he starts like talking shit to him, thinking that it's one of his members of his production team. And he's like, like, what the hell are you doing here? Why are you dressed up as Michael Myers? I told you I'm playing Michael Myers. And Michael's just staring at him, looking at him like, you're fucking dressed as me. But the part that makes it comical was when Busta Rhymes tells Michael Myers, he's all like, he says, I forgot who the person was, but he told him that somebody was in the production van parked outside. He's like, go check on them and see if they're okay. And so he puts the mask back on and he walks around to look for his guests to try and scare them. And he just literally told Michael where to go to kill someone. And Michael was like, fine, I'll go check on that person and I'll kill him too. And like the weird part about it is that one of the contestants is a young girl that goes to college, and she has an online relationship that she's never met the guy that she's talking to, but it's an online chat relationship. And the guy that she's chatting with happens to be a kind of nerdy high school junior or senior. But anyways, yeah. And he's watching her on the episode, and he can see Michael Myers from all the cameras that's set up in the house. So he uses his two-way connector to text his online girlfriend where Michael is at to help her navigate through the Myers home so she doesn't get caught by Michael and killed. As they actually find out that the Michael Myers they're seeing on TV on the live video stream is the real Michael Myers and not someone dressed up as him. And so yeah, it was kind of corny, but you can watch that one. That's Halloween Resurrection. So I can see why they wanted to take it back to the first Halloween and then create this new timeline which is still weird. I still felt like the 2017 Halloween movie should have had like a secondary moniker to it or something, because you got Halloween Kills, Halloween End. Four movies. So yeah. I guess for me to tell you guys, Halloween would be my all-time favorite slasher film. But if I couldn't watch any of the Halloween movies, then Texas Chainsaw Massacre would have been my next one. There's just something about a redneck with a chainsaw out in a freaking out in a meat processing plant that was like hacking up people with a chainsaw. Just creepy as hell, especially when he'll cut the skin off your head, like your face, and he'll stitch it into a mask that he can wear over his rotting skin. It's just weird. So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another one. Favorite werewolf movie. So for me, it used to be American Werewolf in London, and I still love watching that movie. I think they did a stupid job with American Werewolf in Paris. I mean, the werewolves look ridiculous in that movie, and yeah, it was just I don't know. Like, to me, the werewolves in American Werewolf in Paris, they look like the Lions of Savo from The Ghost in the Darkness. Howling is my mom's favorite horror movie. She loves the Howling movie. The first one was scary. It really did scare the crap out of me. And I don't know if it was the second or the third one, but it's the one where this couple goes to the camp, like a couple's retreat, and finds out that most of the people at that couple's retreat are in fact werewolves. But yeah, the Howling series I liked. I think the one that the Howling was responsible for me getting over my fear of werewolves, and why out of all the the monsters that have legends behind them, like vampires and the Frankenstein monster and demons, goblins, and all that. Reason why I always pick werewolves is because of the Howling, and that came to be when I watched the movie The Howling 6. I don't know if you watched that one, but it was called The Howling 6 or Howling 6: The Freaks, and that actually pit a werewolf against a vampire. Basically the story goes for that one, and I love that movie. So, a ringmaster for a carnival. He happens to be a full-fledged real vampire. And years and years ago, he came across this town and he killed the town folk, including a woman. And the woman that he killed her right in front of her son. But rather than him kill the son, he put the werewolf curse on the son. So the son has lived his life nomadic. Um, he's lived and wandered everywhere because he is in fact a werewolf. On the full moon, he will change, but there's also an incantation that can be said that will cause the change without a full moon. And he knows that, the ringmaster, he knows the ringmaster's secret. So he always tries to follow from town to town where the ringmaster has been to hunt him down. And so he finally catches up with him at this one town. And the ringmaster knows of who and what he is, because as a ringmaster hunts at night, he hunts different victims. When the town folk find out that this wanderer is a werewolf, they all pin the murders on him. Anyways, without giving too much away, at the end of the movie, we find out that the ringmaster was the one who put the werewolf curse on this young man. And so the young man and the ringmaster are fighting. This other guy who's like, they call him the reptile boy because like his skin kind of like looks like alligator skin on one side of his body and parts of his face. He heard the ringmaster say the incantation, so he helps the young man become a werewolf to fight back as the ringmaster's in full vampire form. And he says the incantation, guy starts transforming into a werewolf. Him and the ringmaster fight. Then the werewolf realizes that it is sunlight, so the sun has risen. And at a certain point, he pins the vampire to the ground, then jumps up and cuts a giant hole in the big top tent, exposing the sunlight straight in, burning the vampire's body. But that got me over my fear of werewolves, and now werewolves I'm more fascinated with. When it comes to movies that depict werewolves and vampires, I always go with werewolves. In the Underworld series, I always chose Lycans. Even though vampires were majority of the protagonists, I always chose Lycans. I always chose the werewolves. Yeah, it was funny because like my babe, when she was watching, because she was like heavy into the Twilight series, I would tell her on Team Jacob, and she'd be like, "You don't even watch the movie." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but he's a werewolf." So I'm always gonna side with the werewolf. Don't matter if I watch the movie or not. I mean, I actually watch the movies with her afterwards. Because sometimes I like taking interest in what she's interested in, even if it's not my cup of tea. I'll watch a movie that she wants to watch, just so she has some company while she's watching it, and I actually pay attention to the movie. So, yeah, I told her I was Team Jacob because he's werewolf. I always go with werewolves. Another one of my favorite, I wouldn't call it a horror movie, but I would say it's more like suspense thriller, is the Prophecy movies. I don't know if anyone remembers those, with Christopher Walken playing Gabriel. The first Prophecy movie really kind of just like spooked me, only because at the end of the movie, Lucifer shows up at that on top of that mountain hill. So yeah, that kind of creeped me out. And of course, how Gabriel kept that woman from dying to use her to drive a car, to drive him to where he needed to be. He wouldn't let her die, and it was like, oh man, that had to be so bad. But yeah, that is one of my favorites. Also, Watchers, right? I don't know if anyone remembers that movie. I think, Coffee, you've heard me talk about this before. But the first movie, Watchers, has what's that kid? He was in Lost Boys. Not Corey Feldman. Corey Haim. So Corey Haim plays in it. Well, he's in it. So it crossed paths with a golden retriever that is super smart. Not far from where Corey Haim's character's girlfriend lives, there is a military lab that was genetically creating creatures to use in warfare. And the way that it would work is that they would create a hostile, intense rivalry between the creature that they created, that they called the Oxcon, and then the intelligent golden retriever. And what the plan to use this as a weapon was, they would send the retriever in to find enemies hidden in, like, during warfare. And there was a psychic link between the dog and the Oxcon. So the Oxcon can see through the dog's eyes. So the dog would go and he will infiltrate where the enemies were. And the Oxcon would see. So when the Oxcon came to the location that the dog was at, it would kill everything that the dog saw, which would be all the enemies. Now, they hadn't perfected the project because they could not stop the Oxcon's anger from rising. Like, the Oxcon hated the dog so much that there was like, once you let that dog go and then the Oxcon broke free, there was no kill switch. There was no off switch. So anyways, yeah, that is one movie that kind of creeped me out, just because the Oxcon in that movie looked like a werewolf. It looked like a cross between a werewolf and Bigfoot. It was just creepy as hell. I'll probably save all the other ones for tomorrow, because I'm gonna go live again tomorrow night. And I'll probably have like some stuff to show you guys, some scary movies. Yeah, the watchers, yeah. So anyways, yeah, that I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna get some other stuff done. Make sure I get some videos done and edited and uploaded later today. Get something to eat right now. It's been weird. I've had a bad cough for a week. My throat gets it gets painful at night. It feels like strep throat at night. That's fucking weird as hell. I get creeped out about that. Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, The Fog. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. We'll talk more. I'm gonna focus more on Halloween movies tomorrow. This was just kind of like day one of my extravaganza into the Halloween thing. I covered the tech side of things. Now I'm gonna cover scary movies tomorrow. So kind of do your research on some scary movies that you think that people should watch. So then that way we can collectively bring like the most badass Halloween playlist ever. I should have did this a week ago, because it would have gave people time to watch all these movies that we're going to start throwing out. If you'd like to join me in the live stream as a guest, let me know and I'll hit you on Twitter with a DM to join in. If you're comfortable with just commenting in the chat, that's totally fine too. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you guys so much. If you guys missed the tech side of things, you guys can watch the replay where I give my current thoughts on the Pixel Watch and Pixel 7. I'm gonna jam out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful Saturday. I'll see you guys tomorrow.